Yes, well, I'm back. I think we have Josh Renette Francis on the line from Good Humans Inc. and St. Clair Henry, disabilities member. Josh Renette, are you there?
Hey, Al, how are you? I hope you had a safe carnival.
I did. I stayed home. And and what about St. Clair Henry? Is she joining us?
It's a gentleman.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. St. Clair, I guess, could be he or she, but you're a he. Anyway.
Yes, I am.
Great. So we have St. Clair Henry and Josh Renette Francis. How was your carnival? Josh Renette, sorry.
I am not a carnivaler, so I'm not one to revel and ride. We did a teddy bear from Buttercups for Soca for minutes, and we did breakfast fete. So I want to change the way waste is managed. Hopefully next year when we turn 70, we're going to have green teams and better waste management across the season.
Okay. I didn't know Good Humans was around for so long, 70 years. I'm kidding.
Good one, Al, good.
All right.
Very good one.
Okay. So you're having a what is it called? A survey, a waste management survey, it seems. Why are you conducting a survey? Why did you decide to conduct a survey instead of, I guess, moving forward into a project or campaign?
So everything we do is designed to bring light to the issues surrounding individuals with disabilities, like today's conversation with St. Clair and his court case and getting into the courthouse, which is crazy.
Oh.
Everything that we do, this survey, the buttercup sculptures, is designed to bring awareness to the power of individuals with disabilities. We deserve a seat at the table. And if we're able to solve the waste problem, generate $53 million annually, we're going to be able to give jobs to individuals with disabilities. I love to say to individuals, we can't solve the problem with disability without money. We need thousands of dollars, and one of the ways to generate thousands of dollars is through a better waste management system. And then we're going to be able to give jobs. And we're also going to lobby for change. The Disability Act was passed in 2017. However, the act is currently not enforced. St. Clair was actually there the last time he went to court, and there was no preparation made for him to get into the courtroom. And they called the case, and because I looked up the stairs and I said to the police, he's in a wheelchair, we're going to need some help. 2 police officers came down the stairs, and they were able to give us some support. But even that support, speaking to St. Clair afterwards, you recognize that wasn't even really support, because it's a traumatic experience. These people are not trained. And the reality is disability is a very, very delicate topic. We've been talking about Dehana. She was going to Potter's Primary for the first 5 years. She couldn't have an access to a bathroom. And we are going to have new challenges when she goes to SNRA in September. Again, I was speaking to St. Clair, and he was saying when he was going to Otters, the challenges he faced as a student living with a disability. And the reality is we can't keep going down the road of challenges. We need to change the status quo surrounding disability.
All right. Of course, one will argue that life is full of challenges. Every day there's a new challenge. But I guess St. Clair could tell us his story. So tell us your story, St. Clair.
Good afternoon. Well, my story goes back to October the 3rd of 2025, where one of my caretakers that was working for me at the time wrote a check to herself and went to cash it without me knowing. I only find out a few days later when I saw the check came up on my account. And the police came out and they arrested her. And since that, I've been having challenges after challenges. Like, for example, when I was going to court, on the 12th, somebody called me on the 12th of October to tell me that if I know the young lady was going to court the next day, which would have been the 13th. I said no. So I made a call to CID, and the officers informed me, yes, she was going to court the next day. And I'm talking about 8:45, almost 9 o'clock in the night. So I asked them why nobody told me that the young lady was going to court. They said, I was just about to call you like a casual. And I'm talking, as I said, it's about 8:45, 10 to 9 in the night. I don't know who was going to call anybody at that time. So that's the issues have been going before from since then. But the police, they have been very lackadaisical in dealing with the matter properly. Even though the matter is before the court. When we went to court the last time, July the 15th, first time I was able to access the courtroom because Josh Renette, as she said, saw two police officers and asked for assistance to get me up the stairs. And only then I was aware, I was brought to my attention, that the investigating officer has not filed anything in the case. And her lawyer was asking for the matter to be dismissed. And I'm saying there's a check here that she wrote, and she took it to the supermarket and endorsed it at the back. There's a voice recording of her admitting to stealing the check. There's also, when I spoke to the said officer, he told me that he went to the supermarket and he got footage from the supermarket of all that. So I'm still trying to figure out now. We're going on a year. Why has nothing been filed on the case? And her lawyer was asking for the matter to be dismissed, and the magistrate said no. So she adjourned it until the 6th of October.
Okay.
Someone will know if anything is going to be filed at that time on the case.
Well, I guess since it's an active court case, perhaps the less you speak about the specifics of the case, maybe the better. I would imagine that you have lawyers involved who would give you some advice as to how you proceed with the case. So Josh Renette, what is your role in this particular issue?
My role is the fact that we have limited accessibility, and I want to bring awareness to the fact that the court system in Antigua and Barbuda is flawed. So there was nothing filed, and as you said, it's an active case, so we can only give minute details towards it. There's no name calling or anything. But we just want the public to know that a young man who has a disability could not even access justice. He could not even access the courtroom. And the question arises, what are we doing for the disabled community? The Disability Act was passed in 2017, and the Act says that individuals with disabilities should have rights to access. And our job at Good Humans 268 Inc. is to highlight stories like St. Clair, highlight stories like Dehana, and get the public to understand that individuals with disabilities, we're not begging for a space at the table. Based on the Act, which is on our books, we should have a space at the table. We should have a space at the table in schools, in businesses, in the courthouse, and we need to call for legislation to be, at this point, it isn't even reform, is legislation, enforcement, and let individuals know the challenges surrounding the community. We're hoping to see a greater passion, a greater support for individuals with disabilities, because we cannot continue down this line in 2026. The UN Convention for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities that we signed on to speaks of issues like this. It is very sad that we're in 2026 and we do not have basic access to a courthouse. It is very sad that Dehana is going to go to secondary school in September, and there are lots of things that are not in place for her. And while we are aware of these two stories, there are 16,000 individuals on island based on the census in 2011 who have some form of a disability. And the issue that individuals with disabilities face is the fact that they're always left out, their stories aren't shared, and we need a society that's more empathetic, more compassionate, and things are put in place for them.
All right. And so what specifically is required to access the courthouse, in order, I guess, to access justice for St. Clair?
So, because of how the building was built, so just going back to the fact that our building codes need to be adjusted, any building that is renovated would need to ensure that there's a lift in place so that individuals can access both floors. And in St. Clair's instance, there isn't need, they already renovated the building, there's no access. So there needs to be training of the officers as to how to handle someone with a disability. The court should know that the matter is a disability matter, so it should not have taken me as an advocate and a citizen to be there to tell them. They should automatically know Zoom works. When COVID-19 was here, there were lots of court cases that held on Zoom. If we're not able to provide that physical access, can we do a Zoom link? And the answer to that question is yes. Is it going to take some more logistics? Yes. But is it worth it? Yes, because justice cannot be denied because someone has a physical disability. And all that we do is to educate the public as the need for us to change our building codes. And I've asked this question, do I know the answers? No, I'm still investigating. Is the new 5-island primary being built with accessibility in mind? I've been asking this question because what's going to happen in the future, we're going to have a child and we're building a new we're building a new primary school. Is accessibility being put in place with that school? Our latest secondary school is Sir Novel Richards, and Sir Novel Richards is not built with accessibility in mind. Is there an accessible bathroom? Yes. But accessible bathrooms are not all. All of the buildings are disjointed. So when Dehana goes to that school in September, Claire Brown has indicated to us that the preparations will be put in place to ensure she's able to get from one building to the next. They're looking about getting a helper. But the reality is the buildings, when they were built, these considerations should be put in place. We're renovating the cinema. I've seen several posts with the Honorable Rodden Turner saying that the buildings will be accessible. I pray to God that that is true. The city needs to be accessible. There are lots of things that need to change. We're talking about ramps. We're talking about Braille. Did you know that we used to have sign language on the news and we no longer have it? It is something that's needed because we're excluding a big portion of the population. And the idea with sharing St. Clair's story and sharing Dehana's story is to get more people on board talking about the issues surrounding disability.
You spoke about a Zoom link in order to, I guess, participate in the in a court case. Is that actually possible?
Well, the matter was discussed with me, and that was the way going forward. When I had a discussion on March 3rd, and I never heard anything about it since. I went back to the court 2 times after, and that has not been implemented as yet. So I am not sure where that is at this point in time. But I know the next time the case comes up is going to be October 6th. And what is going to be put in place to make sure I'm a part of the court proceedings.
Okay.
That is what I'm waiting to see.
All right. Josh Renette, what are some of the pushback that you've gotten from the public, if any, concerning accessibility?
I think individuals like yourself, Al, they're not really thinking about it. Our job is to reach out to radio stations. Thank you very much for giving us a spot to educate people. I've come across a few negative feedbacks and comments here and there, but the majority have really been educational, and people have been like, I've never really thought about that. I've never really seen it that way. They've never really thought of individuals with disabilities because individuals with disabilities are seen in the public few and far between. And that is because it is very hard as someone who uses a wheelchair or someone who uses a cane or someone who's blind to navigate the city. And we're hoping for a future where individuals with disabilities can leave their homes and navigate the city in peace. We're hoping that individuals can participate in school activities. They can get jobs. We can change the way the individuals view disabilities. I've had the pleasure to speak to the Minister, Kiz Johnson, who's now over disability, and she's excited about, working on potentially getting the act up and running. We were speaking about disability tourism. CHOGM is happening, and there's a disability forum attached to CHOGM. And if we're going to have a disability forum attached to CHOGM, we can't have a disability forum, but a child can't go to secondary school. We can't have a disability forum, yet our legislation that is on the books since 2017 isn't up. We've signed the UN Convention for Individuals with Disabilities Health, but we're still infringing on their basic rights. It's like double-edged sword. What are we doing? We can't be saying CHOGM is such a big event, and while we've heard lots of, I just saw a post that billionaires are going to come, all of the heads of government are going to come. These are big parts of CHOGM. But another part of CHOGM that is not being spoken about is the Disability Forum. We're going to have hundreds of people with disability from across Commonwealth coming to Antigua and Barbuda because we share the same challenges across the region. And our job as an organization, and I will say to anybody, for me, advocacy is about educating people, sensitizing people, letting people know the stories, and hopefully we can get enough voices. Maybe somebody listening to the DPP, somebody listening to the Prime Minister. Let's get some phone calls made. We should not go back to court in October and we don't have a Zoom link. And the only way for us to change that is to let people know that it's actually happening.
So have you heard any genuine challenges with moving to a situation where we have greater accessibility? I can imagine that changing certain buildings may be difficult or whatever the situation is. Have you heard any genuine challenges for which there are easy solutions or at least workable solutions in order to have greater accessibility for everyone?
Biggest challenge is money, Al. We need some money.
Well, I guess you nailed it.
So we were speaking about Dehana going to secondary school in September, and I was sitting in Claire Brown's office, and we were talking about getting some lifts, and just so that individuals know what's happening. How our schools are built, there are several buildings, the buildings are not connected, and at SNRE, there are 5 buildings that are 2-story buildings. And the conversation is, she would need to get from the first floor to the second floor. Even if we don't need a lift for all 5 buildings, we would need a lift for at least 2 buildings. Ali, want to guess the cost for one lift?
I don't know. $20,000.
20, you're too little bit. A lift costs between 50 and 80,000 US dollars.
Oh dear.
So can you imagine? I am sitting in the director's office and we're talking about a lift. And we're not talking about a $20,000 lift. We're talking about $50,000. If we were to put a lift in...
Did you say 50,000 US?
50,000 US. Let us ensure we're talking in us. We're not talking in the EC here. 50,000 US dollars.
$130,000.
Okay. EC for one lift, and there are 5 buildings that need a lift.
Oh, dear.
Our greatest challenge is money. Because when these buildings were built, they were not built with accessibility in mind. So outside of the lift that you need, you also need to create the space to put in the lift. You have to pay the workmen. And then after the lift, all 5 buildings need to be connected with a pavement so she can move from one building to the next. We're talking about the fact that what happens when rain comes and there's school yards like this that are saturated. The situation with accessibility, as I've expressed multiple times, is it is an expensive venture, and that's why we're so big on waste management. If we're able to generate revenue from something, solve a problem. Any business that is in Antigua and Barbuda, the supermarkets are open to solve the problem. We need to buy food. We need to buy Clorox so we can go to the supermarket and buy those things. Ryan, them are open because we go and buy some lumber. The shoe stores are there because we have to put shoes on our foot. With Good Humans 268, our problem that we're solving is the waste problem. We have thousands of cans, plastic and glass that are sent to the landfill. If we can solve that problem, generate $53 million annually, we have some money to put towards projects such as changing the school system.
All right. Well, that sounds like quite a challenge. And so, I don't know. How do you expect the public can help you?
They can reach out to us. They can reach out to St. Clair. They can become advocates. Let us advocate. Do you know somebody in the police force? Because I don't. Do you know the DPP? I don't. Maybe you're close to the Honorable Federal Cutie Benjamin. Help us to get the message out that a young man who has a disability, a check was written, it was fraud. He's been to court on 5 different occasions.
I think there's an allegation of fraud.
There's an allegation of fraud. Thank you for being very specific there. And we need to get him into the courthouse. Our officers need to be trained. And if we cannot get him into the courthouse, we need a Zoom link. And the idea is to get more people talking about the matter. And hopefully, if we have more people talking about the matter, we're going to see some change when we go back to court for the 6th time in October.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe for school accessibility, maybe you could have, I don't know, maybe you could have a room where students have access to technology, so they're in a different location, but they can observe what's happening in the different rooms. I don't know. Maybe that's an idea.
That is a good idea, though, Al. That is a very good idea. Technology is our friend, so we need somebody to sponsor us 2 laptops, a camera, and a microphone. So even if she isn't able to enter the classroom because it's upstairs, we set up, as you say, a Zoom. Again, we're back to Zoom, where she's able to, although it's not the best and it's not ideal, it's something that works. We're asking any business person out there who has the capacity to give us some funds to donate towards helping to buy these lifts. Maybe you can donate some cement. Maybe you can donate some board. The idea is to get individuals on the bandwagon for a better, more accessible Antigua and Barbuda.
Yeah, well, as I was expressing earlier, I mean, we all have challenges. Life is about challenges. I mean, the only time you don't have a challenge is if you're lucky to be dead, you know, and then nothing bothers you anymore. But outside of that, you're going to have challenges. I guess it's just how you deal with the challenges, navigate them, come up with workarounds and solutions, so that, you know, everybody can get access and fair, use, and, you know, everybody gets, you know, let me lock that in. And
the reality is, access is something that is so deep, so broad. Let's talk about the news.
But before you continue, there seems to be a caller. Caller, we're talking about accessibility. We're talking to the folks from Good Humans Inc. Do you have a question or anything on the topic that we're talking about?
Good afternoon, Al.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Let me say a few things here. Disability falls under which ministry?
I don't know. Is there a ministry?
The Ministry of Social and Urban Transformation. The main minister is the Honorable Rodin Turner, but Kids is the junior minister.
Thank you very much. Because sometimes you come in the air, it seems like you just come and talk and you don't go to these ministry to get things done before you come. Because I listen to you all the time, and you spoke about the young lady used to attend the participant. I think she did come in agent. I don't know which school she's going to. No, at the Antigua Girls High School.
She's going to Sir Novel Richards, is what...
Okay, good. No, what I'm saying to you. Now, if there, you know, she started from first farm, go right up to fifth farm. And if there a classroom, like they make a ramp for first farm, the second farm student can actually come and use the classroom. When she go third farm, the child can come down to that same classroom for third farm, go right down to fifth farm. That's not a problem, because all the time I listen to you, like, you make things be a problem and say things like you need to go to the ministry that are responsible for certain things before you come in here and talk, and you don't go to the ministry. If you have a problem with the waste, there's the Ministry of Health, that's called Michael Joseph. Have you gone there and spoke to him about the waste management and our landfill and so forth? Have you gone to social transformation and discussed these things? Have you gone to the Ministry of Education and discussed these things before you come on the radio?
You want her to respond to those questions?
Yeah, I put the question to her.
All right. Well.
I've spoken to the Director of Education so this is what I'm telling you. I was in the Director's office, and a ramp and a lift, they're currently having discussions about putting a ramp and a lift, and you should know that I've spoken to the Honorable Rodin Turner, the Honorable Michael Joseph, the Honorable Kiz Johnson, the Honorable Malwin Joseph when he's been in office. I've spoken to the Prime Minister, and Dehana, she's a child, so I don't want us to refer to her as a third person. Her name is Dehana. And kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and the first term for grade 5, she could not use the bathroom on her own. And that is because there was no accessible bathroom at the Potters Primary School, which is a government school. And I met Dehana in 2023, and I made it my business to get on the radio, to go to speak to these ministers, to pull and lobby for her to have an accessible bathroom. When Dehana was promoted to grade 6 at the Potters Primary School, the government of Antigua and Barbuda knew that there was no ramp from the bottom of the pavement to the grade 6 classroom. Luxury locations, builders merchants, L French constructions, and private citizens were the reason we were able to put in the space for her wheelchair to get to the grade 6 classroom. The government of Antigua and Barbuda cannot do it all. And my job as an advocate is to come to the radio and beg. Luxury locations, because I was on the radio begging for her, is the reason she has a power chair. So I've been to these ministries, and I'm saying to you, as a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, go and read the law. I should not be advocating for these things. A child should not have gone to primary school, a government primary school at that, for 5 years of her life, and she could not use the bathroom without assistance. And we're going to enter secondary school.
I'm happy that you mentioned that the government cannot do everything now, because there's a lot of businesses that get a lot of things from the government in terms of duty-free concession, and if they have to give back something, so be it. Because the government cannot do it all. So if you go to private entity to ask for assistance, don't make it look like, well, you come to the government and the government refuse to do certain things, because that's how it come over. Like, well, oh, I went to the Ministry of Education and I lobbied for this and lobbied for that, and it didn't happen. So I have to go to a private entity to get it done. Like they turn their back on you. You should come and let us know. Well, listen, I speak to the Minister of Education about this matter. He has done nothing, and so forth. So don't make it look like you have gone to them and you didn't do anything about it. And that's what I want to say to you.
I don't think you've been listening to the interview, because I said to Al that I spoke to Claire Brown, and if you don't know who Claire Brown is the Director of Education, and the Director of Education has said to us they're going to put things in place, and then Al asked, what are some of the challenges? And I said to Al, it's money. One of the challenges is money. The government is trying to pay for a lift, one lift that's going to cost $50,000. And I am saying, as businesses, I'm hoping that businesses can come along and help the government, because the government of Antigua and Barbuda, to get Sir Novel Richards up to standard, would need to buy 5 lifts. 5 lifts at $50,000 per lift. That's $150,000. And I said on this very program, can private citizens help the government? The government hasn't refused to help them.
When money is done, when money have been donated, it must be we must have accountability of what's donated to and where the money is going as well. We must know how it's spent.
So you would have to. I never asked for the money. I said to give the money to the government. So that means you're going to have to now ask the ministry for accountability, because I never said to give good humans the money. I said to give it to the government, because the government of Antigua, I want you to listen. The government of Antigua and Barbuda has pledged its support to ensure Sir Novel Richards is up to date. And I am asking the public to help the government. The government has a big price tag to get that school to be accessible.
I actually tuned into the program a bit late. So if that was said before, I must apologize. But there are many times that they'll kind of ask this to other media, and sometimes how it comes over like, well, you know, the government not doing anything based on how you talk.
So I'm happy that you might have gotten the program.
They don't have to build 5 ramps for 5 different areas. Because as I said, when the child go to another grade, where the ramp can use as grade. You don't have a ramp for grade 2. She go on to grade 3. That classroom can go down in the same room there. You don't have to
based on our mental health principles, that is actually going to affect her mental health and all the other mental health for students. I actually had the pleasure.
How can it affect the child? In what way?
It will affect her mental health.
Okay, let me ask you something. One second. Right now, I'm just passing the two. I'm just passing by the chaos school. They're building a two-story building. If one of those classrooms have to be on the floor up there, can they build a ramp for the child to go up there?
They can build. It's not a ramp that they're going to build. They're going to leave a space to get a lift from the first floor to the second floor. So the technology has already, and you should visit Government House. Government House is one of the newly retrofitted museums. They've put in space for a lift. So when you get to the museum, the lift isn't on island yet. However, they've left the space that you're going to go into the lift, and it takes you from the first floor to the second floor. And in the ideal world, we would love to retrofit all buildings, all schools, but I'm a very realistic advocate. We were not going to be able to afford that.
I have a 4:30 appointment, so I wish I could continue to listen to this program here. I'm not going to say not doing you're not a good advocate, but sometime, as I said to you, the way how things come over, like when you come to the government, they turn their back on you.
And I do apologize if that is how I came off, but I was very clear, and I mentioned that I spoke to the Director of Education, and I mentioned that he, not me, the Director of Education, which is the government, they've pledged their support to getting her an accessible school. And what is happening...
If I want, I can say about... But I was giving Sir Clay Brown. Even one thing I can say about this. When it comes to education... When it comes to education, you don't make matter. When it comes to our children and the safety and all that, I can tell you about Sir Claiborne. That's how I call him, Sir Claiborne.
He's done a marvelous job, and I will say to you, even when I met him in 2023, I went into his office and I said to Claiborne, we're infringing on this child's basic human right, because when I met her, she's in grade 4 at that point, grade 3 at that point, and I said, how is it she cannot go to school and she cannot use the bathroom on her own? And Claiborne picked up his phone and he called the Board of Education in my presence, and I lobbied and I lobbied and I lobbied, and the Not Good Humans 268, the Board of Education put in that bathroom at Potter's Primary. And the reality is...
Last question to you. Why you stop teaching?
Because I've been transferred to the Ministry of Social Transformation. I want to find the money for disability. Disability will not be solved without money. And what we need to do, as I've said to the Honorable Kiz Johnson, we need to get organizations to be funding ready. So when Sandals and Jeff and other organizations have funding calls, Not Good Human 268, but organizations that deal with disability, we can get them funding ready, because the problems with disabilities in this country will not be solved without money. I want to spend my days working along with other organizations so that we can change the narrative surrounding disability, and that's not going to happen in a class.
But sometimes when I listen to you talking about disability, sometimes it seems to me like, nobody's taking care of these people, and they are well taken care of. And for your information, I actually work for the Ministry of Social Transformation as well. And I'm going to defend that ministry.
Individuals with disabilities are normally left on the bottom of the burner. There are lots of them that are well taken care of because they have families and friends. Do you know that we have a program, not bashing any minister here, that when they graduate from Adele, they're supposed to transition to the rehabilitation center. And from the rehabilitation center, they're supposed to transition into society. And it was designed to ensure that individuals with disability have a place, and that center has been down for over 4 years now. Did you know that there are lots of parents... Wait, you're asking me a question and I'm answering. Did you know that there are hundreds of students who have some form of a disability, and the issue is the system is not designed for them, so they're left behind? We are a small island developing state, and I will always say the government cannot do it alone. My job today is to come and say to people, St. Clair went to court and he could not get into the courthouse. Was he disenfranchised? Yes, he was. We have the Disability Act. We have the UN Rights for Convention for Individuals with Disabilities, and both of those legislation worked. They should have protected him, and they did not. And my job is to tell people not to bash anyone. We need more advocates. We need more people. St. Clair got into the courthouse on the 5th time to court, not because the court did anything for him, but because I was present. So when his case was called, I went and I looked up the stairs and I said to the police officers, the young man is in a wheelchair. He's going to need help. The law of Antigua and Barbuda, so take your time, call the DPP, ask them. The police officer did not show up to court that day. They did not file anything on his behalf. Is that fair to St. Clair? And I can give stories. Let us talk about Dehana. Yes, we were able to get her a bathroom, but for the first 5 years of her life, every single time she needed to pee or to poo, she could not just go on her own because a government school did not have accessibility in mind. And because I'm an advocate, I went and I lobbied on her behalf. And there's thousands of stories I can share with you with individuals with disabilities who need the support of the government, who need the support of corporate Antigua and Barbuda.
Let me say something to you. You see that part of school? I have done and also a lot of things to that school, and that is one of the things you can ask the principal as well. I never pleased to know when I see that young lady, and I know she had to use the bathroom as well, and I was happy when they built that bathroom. Right? Something about part of school that I have interest in. As a matter of fact, I actually have a daughter who goes to Barbuda as well, and the principal can tell you. You see all the pavement in front there? When I used to go to that school and it rained, they used to, a lot of water used to lodge in front there. And Senator Collins, a part of it as well, we try our best to get it done until it was done, to get in the concrete in front of that building there, at part of primary school. So I know a lot going on at part of school that I can talk about, but this is my last question to you. You say you was transferred to the social transformation. Are you functioning at that ministry there?
I'm so glad you asked that question. So I wrote my first transfer letter because by way of information, you don't know who I am. So I was fired because I have osteoarthritis, and 5 years ago, there's the court, I can call them name now, Sherax Restaurant. We have a court document, and when I was fired, when I was removed from their schedule in 2020 and then given an offer letter in 2021, I learned that the Disability Tribunal isn't up and running. 5 years, 9 months later, the court system of Antigua and Barbuda, the industrial court, ordered Sherax to pay me $61,000 in damages because the court, you should go on industrial court and you should search for my name and you're going to read. They fired me. It was harsh and it was oppressive. As a proud member of the disability community. So when I come on any radio station and I talk about disabilities, because me, someone who has a disability, was fired and the system failed me. And the system is still failing me up to today because I cannot collect my money. You know why? Because industrial court cannot enforce the judgment, and I now have to take this company back to court. But the UN Convention for Right to Persons with Disabilities and the Disability Act 2017 should have protected me as someone with a disability. The company refused to do a full doctor analysis. The company, when I was fired, I was pregnant. Do you know what is postpartum depression? The only reason I am alive and my son is alive is because of the grace of God. So when I speak about disability issues, I'm not speaking as an outsider. My mortgage was approved. I begged $12,000 to put on my stories on Facebook. It's a public story. When I talk about disability issues, it's because I've lived it. I am currently living it. The system was not designed for individuals with disabilities, and individuals with disabilities have to share their stories over and over and over again because individuals like you and individuals who meet me on the road like, what you talk about? No, I know what it's like to cry myself to sleep because a doctor said your knees are failing you and by thought you're not going to be able to work.
Let me ask you something. When you start to deal with this waste bottle and so forth. You were teaching, right?
Yes, I was.
And you were transferred at the time when you started
No, I
doing that?
wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Are you just
I
leaving?
wrote
Are you just leaving?
I wrote my first transfer letter January 2023 from the Ministry of Education to the Ministry of Social Transformation. I now know, because I've spoken to the Director of Education and I've spoken to the PS, that I will be transferred to Social Transformation. I will be seconded. But it took 3.5 years for that transfer to happen. I've been on unpaid leave for the last 2 years because I believe in the mission of Good Humans 268 and individuals with disabilities than my personal benefit. You know why?
You don't want to be sit down in the ups and bug down?
I requested to go to the Ministry of Social Transformation because I want to help individuals with disabilities. What are you talking about going in the office and sitting down? Can I go into office if I'm not transferred?
Someone just messaged me now and told me to ask you that.
But I just told you I want to go to the Ministry of Social Transformation because they're funding agencies like Sandals and Jeff and other international agencies, that organizations, not Good Humans 268, can access funding, and how we're going to solve the problem with disabilities, not depending on the government, is getting organizations money to help.
Anyhow, let me just say this to the man here, to the program, because I'm going to end the conversation with you now. I just want to say thanks to Roger Raggy. I spoke to him about someone in need of a stove, and Miss Mary Baltimore, the Social Protection Board, and the stove was delivered today. I was present when the stove delivered, and I want to say, Raggy, let me tell you, the words didn't fall away from your ears before the stove delivered to these young people today. So I really, really appreciate that you're on board to secure a stove for these young people in Herbert today. So thank you very much, Mr. Raggy. And you have been doing a very good job. And, you know, he is the one who works for the Happy program. And I think right now they have about, I only said they, because I'm part of the program, about 5 homes presently. There's a big family in 5 Islands. There's a massive house that they're building down there. One in Alstins, one in Yorks, and let's remember the other 2 of them. But anyhow, Series 5 was presently under construction. So I just want to say that social transformation has been, which Social Protection Board falls under social transformation. I must take my time for also for the minister, Mr. Rodney Turner, because I don't think with any other minister, the amount of houses are built on Rodney Turner for the short time he was signed to that ministry. It's amazing. So I just want to say big up to that department, Mr. Barry Baltimore, Raggy. I'm telling you, boss, I almost never bring tears on my eyes today. Could not believe he delivered the stove today. So thank you once again. And Al, you take care, my brother. I'm actually in my barber chair, and my barber have to keep stop because I'm on the phone. So I'm going to talk to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Frankie. Okay. I guess that's the appointment that he had. All right. Anyway, yeah, so Frankie just spoke about, you know, his joy and, how he felt seeing a stove being delivered. Now, we've heard through your advocacy, Josh Renette, that you've delivered for, many of the people who you advocate for. How does it feel when you are able to, deliver for the persons who you advocate for?
The people like Frankie upset me because they call on the radio station. You didn't hear he didn't hear me praise the government, because I've never, ever in my advocacy come on anywhere say, oh, the government did. No, I've said we need to change the way waste is managed. I've spoken to the Honorable Michael Joseph. I've said we need to do better when it comes to individuals with disabilities, and that is how advocacy works. But I find that in this country, the people who are politically affiliated, who are comrades, you can't say what is wrong, because once you say what is wrong, you're anti-government. The government of Antigua and Barbuda cannot do it all. I am asking individuals to help us lobby, to have conversations about disability. There was a child, Al. There is a bathroom at Potter's Primary now, yes. But for 5 years of her life, kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, the first term of grade 5, she could not pee or poo on her own. How is that fair to her? How is that fair? So what should I come on the radio and be like, oh, we putting up? No, we have to talk about the past. We have to talk about, me beg citizens for help the government because the government cannot do it all. One live will cost the government $50,000. The government is trying, yes. And I'm saying, as an advocate, and people like Frankie, as he's called on many radio stations and tried to bash me, oh, no. If you are a real comrade, if you really care about the government, what you are going to do, you're going to be like, at least you didn't know that St. Clair went to court and he could not get into the courthouse. Our jobs as advocates is to talk the truth. And the truth doesn't always sound nice. 5 years, Al. Every time, think about it, how many days you want to prepare, you just run in your house and you're going to the bathroom on your own. How many times you were in town and you need to put you turn the key to your car and you rush home. They had never had that luxury for 5 years. And because of my advocacy, there's a bathroom at Potter's Primary.
We do have a call. Caller, are you there?
Yes, Al, my pal.
Hi, how are you doing, matey?
I have 2 questions for that young lady. Why you speak so angry? 1, sweetheart, she can hear me?
I can hear you.
She can hear you.
Why do you speak so angry?
I'm not angry. I'm very passionate about disability. And when people want to ruin my reputation and be like, oh, I want to go into an office to sit down, that I don't like that. I applied to move. I didn't need to go to social transformation. I'm a trained teacher. I love my job. I love sports day. I love graduation. And I chose to leave my good teaching job. When I get 9 weeks summer, 3 weeks in December, Christmas, every public holiday, and little rain come and I have to go teach. I, as a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, willingly gave up that. I penned a letter to our ministry and said, I'm giving up these things because I want to do my work for individuals with disabilities. And then somebody comes and be like, oh, she just wants to go in her office to sit down. What?
Hello, I'm telling her I can hardly hear you. I hear what you're saying, but I have to strain my ears to hear.
You had a second question, you said?
Yes. Ramp. When you take it on your own to build a ramp, if it has a hole, a chip, something in it, and the person with the wheelchair happen to fall over, who would be responsible for that?
So any adjustments that's done on any school has to go through the Ministry of Education, the Board of Education.
But one second. But that was your final question?
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, my final question, but I have something to say.
We cannot make any adjustments on any school without the Board of Education. So it's a process that you have to go through. So when we were able to put in that installment at Potter's Primary, we had to go through the Ministry of Education,
they were on board with
Education to get permission to do so.
Oh, you got permission?
Yes, you have to get permission.
Just checking, sweetheart. Now, Al, there's where the CIP comes in. And there are people who want us to do away with the CIP. And this government is a caring government. You understand? And she says she went to Claiborne and he called something. And she, and there's where the CIP, so we need that CIP and the St. Clair with, I think I know him, with the check. If I was that lady, I would be so ashamed. I would not go to court. I would just pay him back his money. You know what I'm saying, Al? And he have to be drawn out so long, man. Come on, be reasonable. The man have to go court and trained to go upstairs. And the policemen, they don't have to be trained to assist a disabled person. I can work with disabled person. I'm not trained. Certain, not bedridden people and so, because I wasn't trained to know how to turn them, but to walk with them, of course. Who have to work with them supposed to be trained. But that's unfortunate with that young man and that lady. But, sweetie, tone it down a little bit because of how this world is going now, stroke and pressure, high pressure and so. I would advise you to tone it down a few kind words. Keep away with. You understand what I'm saying, darling?
I understand what you're saying, love.
Yeah, you're too passionate, sweetie pie.
No, I'm not too and I will say to you,
You speak angry. When I heard that, you frightened me.
The world needs more people like me. Because I am disabled, I'm a proud member of the disabled community.
I see you all over. I didn't even know you had a problem.
Can you imagine being pregnant and being fired?
Yeah, but okay, you say you have a problem with your knees. And you're all over. I know my sister, her knee, she fell down the other day. We had to put her in a home because she fell down, hit her knee so badly. The foot is sick up to now. And you all over hopping, jumping, skipping. I didn't know you had a knee problem, so...
I have osteoarthritis. The cartilage in my knees are failing me. By 40, the doctors predict I'm not going to be able to work. And if you check out my Facebook page, my health records is on there.
I'm not
saying to you. I'm saying it to the public. And because I have osteoarthritis, I was fired. And the justice system of Antigua and Barbuda has failed me as a member of the disability community.
They failed you or you failed them?
The system failed me. The justice system has failed me.
Oh, okay.
Because I should be protected under the Disability Act of 2017, and I should be protected under the UN.
Because I see you all over.
Because disability isn't all. Because when we talk about disability, why am I also a passionate advocate, and why I ask to be transferred? People assume disability is only individuals in wheelchairs.
Oh, no.
Disability is a broad spectrum.
Yes.
There are lots of individuals you see on a daily basis. They're having issues that you wouldn't know unless you had a conversation with them.
That's true. But careful how you get in the road with the knees, because if you fall, it can be very, very... Look, be careful, huh? With those knees, you said what you have with your knees. Be careful. Okay?
All right, no problem. Thank you very much, love.
So you frighten me when you speak so angry, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's not you, it's Frank. He upset me.
Frank,
when you get to home, that's why I'm going to have to go sit down. Anybody, I love
somebody sent him that message for you.
No, and he has the audacity to be like, oh, you just want to move to sit down in my office. Nobody asked me to be transferred. I want to go to social transformation. I want to become an advocate for individuals with disabilities because Dehana is going to become an adult. She cannot go into APU to just pay a bill. Can she get a driver's license? Can she have a home? She is allowed when she gets to be older. If she wants to have children, our medical facilities put in place for her to have children. There's so many parts of disability. She's not going to be a child forever.
No, but well, all righty. Thanks for taking my call. Al, you have a great day.
Thank you so much, matey.
Okay, then. And be good and all the best to you. Josh Renette, you say your name is?
Josh Renette Francis.
Josh Renette Francis. Okay, have a great day.
Have a great day, love.
All right, darling.
All right. Okay, yeah, so is it difficult being an advocate, Josh Renette? I mean, you have to be passionate, as you put it, to advocate for persons who may not have difficulty advocating for themselves. But, sometimes persons may not understand your passion or appreciate it. How do you find being an advocate? I mean, everything comes with its challenges. Is this particularly challenging for you?
I think one of my biggest challenges, Al, is that people hear me and sometimes my passion, and I will always say, some days my passion comes off as anger. It's like my response to the comrade Frankie a while ago. My passion comes off as anger because people see me and they assume that they know my story, and they assume, she just a chat about disability. They don't know that I've cried myself to sleep multiple days. When I went to court, just like St. Clair went to court, I went to court on February the 2nd. I sat in that box at court and I said to the union, I don't want to do this anymore. I do not want to fight this company anymore because it has taken an emotional, financial, and physical toll on me, and I no longer want to fight. It is okay. And the only reason, just like St. Clair, why my case is still going is because the president said, you cannot not fight anymore. We're going to take a 45-minute break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to have a discussion about your court case. And I come off the stand and I pick up my bag and I was ready to walk out and leave it all. Because you know what? Nobody cares about these individuals with disabilities. Nobody cares that I was pregnant when I was fired. Nobody cares that I had my mortgage. Nobody cares that at several points in my life I thought about suicide. Because just like you laughed, Al, I will say to anybody, there are days that my brain said death is better than life. Because there's no way you're fighting a system that wasn't designed for you. The system wasn't designed for individuals with disabilities. And individuals see me and they hear a clip of an interview. They see a picture and they think they know the whole story. And because I'm now an advocate, I met St. Clair, I met Dehana, I met Kimoy, I met Jermaine, I met thousands of individuals who have disabilities, and I recognize the system has to change. And in order to change the system, all we need money. The system will not change if we don't have money. So we need to get individuals with disabilities on the bandwagon to give them jobs. We need organizations to get money so that they can do more for their programs. And the idea, when I, as a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, asked to be transferred to the Ministry of Social Transformation, is because I know what it's like to be disabled. I know what it's like for the system to fail you. And because of that, some days, my passion comes off as a bit aggressive, as a bit angry. But if you really take some time and listen, my heart is pure. My heart is pure. I want us to do better. And I sit and I say on any radio station, I do not believe the government can do it all. So what we've done as an organization, we've walked the perimeter of Antigua and Barbuda. We're on a mission to ride at 300 locations. We're doing a research to change legislation about waste management. We've been to countless meetings. We've done our part to say individuals with disabilities, we deserve a seat at the table. And change must happen. And I'm not bashing the government. I'm saying let us work with the government. NGOs, private citizens, and the government come together for us to change the narrative surrounding disability.
Okay, thanks so much. Someone who listens to, a good number of conversations, debates, exchanges of ideas, honestly, it does come off sometimes as if conversations become more of a competition, where people are not listening to each other, where, they're not listening to exactly what you're trying to say, but, they are trying to figure out which side, which team you're on. And that can make, difficult conversations even more difficult because you're not getting to the root of an issue. It's just, sort of a game of finding out, well, which side are you on? Because if you're not on my side, then, it's
good
a problem.
News. I'm on side Antigua and Barbuda. I pray to God that I might never see it. I was laughing with my friends the other day. I might never see the things that I'm lobbying for. But I pray to God that we change the waste management system. 30,000 homes at $45 per month. That's $16,200,000 we can collect. Not Good Humans 268, but the National Solid Waste Management Authority. Every event, every fete. If we're able to implement a better waste management system as a country, we can generate $53 million. And how we fit in as an organization, we become consultants. We assist the government. We generate some revenue. We get some of that $53 million. And we can help our people, and our people in the context of individuals with disabilities. What we cannot do, and I guess maybe that is why individuals normally hear me and think, what is she saying? Because I'm not coming on the radio station begging. I'm saying, let's change the law. Let us change the law. Let us do better for individuals with disabilities, because begging has never made it. Thank you very much. And I will, did you know Dehana's mother doesn't work? You know why? She always has to help her daughter. For the first 2 years of her daughter's life, she could not work all. You know why? Because she was the one who had to take her daughter to school. In kindergarten, when her daughter needed to pee or poo, the school called her mother on the phone, and she had to leave her house and take her daughter to the bathroom.
Okay, before you continue, there seems to be another call on the line. Call, are you there?
Good afternoon, Al.
Good afternoon, Devon.
The small show on radio.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes. Let me say good afternoon to the young lady here who is speaking so passionately. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, love.
Question for you. You keep talking about money. How much money did you raise to the ramp at Pointe School?
We raised over $21,000 to put in the ramp. And we have all the receipts. You're free to come and see me. I can show you all the receipts.
No, I don't want to see. I don't believe me. So I'm going to see. And are you a member of the Disability Association?
So the Disability Association is a different organization. So just like Good Humans 268.
No. Just that. You're not speaking to a fool here. I ask you a simple question. Are you a member of the Disability Association?
I am not a member of the Disability Association. We're two different organizations.
Hold on, man. Don't jump there. Don't go there. The reason why I ask you that, you keep mentioning about disability. And it seems to me that you're using the word disability to raise funds and not passing any money over to the Disability Association. You're not talking about 268. You keep talking about disability. And, Al.
Hi, I'm here.
I want to appeal to you. Try and get the president of the Disability Association on your program to give a flip side of what Ms. Justin is saying, because I think Ms. Justin is not being academical with some part of the truth. Because I know, because she said earlier that she left teaching and give up teaching and not earning any income. Am I correct, Miss Justin?
I applied to move from the Ministry of Education to the Ministry of Social Transformation.
Hold on. Didn't you say that you give up teaching and not making any money?
I applied to leave from the Ministry of...
That's the question I have to know.
But the problem is you kind of, the answer that I'm giving you is I applied to leave from the Ministry of Education to the Ministry of Social Transformation. We're at the end of the process to be transferred to the Ministry of Social Transformation under the Disability Unit. I've been on unpaid leave from teaching for the last 2 years.
But what about all those money you make from all them donations?
So we were able to get $98,000 in year one for our student community service recycling project, and we were able to fulfill our grant requirements by way of information. Grant money isn't designed to pay salaries, and it's not designed to pay certain things. So if you go to all 80 schools on island, there are bins in all 80 schools. We've done several school tours. We've done Global Recycling Day for the last 2 years, and we've done several projects outside with any grant money that we were given. And as an organization who's edited and audited because Inter-American Foundation gives funding, hopefully if the North comes back as normal, up to $400,000 US, and we would like to access that kind of funding so we can do things for disability on island. So the little $50,000 that we have to ensure we spend it right, which we have, and we reported it to our donors so that we can access bigger funding.
Okay, it sounds like you asked her a question and she answered it. Yes.
Just be careful, because you're talking to somebody who has certain facts. Anyway, take care. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
No, I love people like you. I just told you. The Sandals Foundation, because the Sandals Foundation is actually our biggest funding agency. In year one, they gave us 48. In year two, we got 37. And in year three, we were approved for 40. You cannot get funding for 3 consecutive years if you never spent the money right. How grant funding works, which I guess a lot of Antiguans don't know, and I'm going to give you 2 seconds. You are given $2, you have to spend that $2 on exactly what they gave. So I encourage any citizen to go to all the schools. There are bins in all the schools. A bin costs $80 per bin. We've put in over 1,000 bins at the schools. There's several schools you're going to see we put in flyers, we put in stickers, global recycling. They call transport board. Ask them how much time we've paid them to use the school bus service. There's several trucking companies that we've used. The issue in Antigua and Barbuda, which all I will say to you is people assume when they hear $98,000, oh, then get plenty money and she pack it on. Didn't pocket a dollar of it because we could not. And we have the reports. And I spoke in a meeting with the Honorable Michael Joseph. I printed the reports and I said to him, because again, Frankie called on WTP and he said, oh, she get grant money, she don't know she spend them. And I went to the Honorable Michael Joseph. He's probably laughing if he heard this. I said, Michael, every dollar, every receipt, I have it printed here. So this conversation that then get grant money and then they know how we go on and lie. And I just want to say to the public, you cannot access funding. Sandals Foundation has approved the organization on 3 different occasions if you did not spend the first set of money right. When Jeff Small Grants gave us $50,000, you also have to report every single cent. And this is also now that I'm in project world. Why I know the government can't do it all, because projects are expensive. Because the typical citizen doesn't even know the staff bill is ridiculous. Fuel is ridiculous. The cost for trucking is millions of dollars. And that's why I know, no. I got to give our government some grace sometimes when you see some project not work out. Because they cost a lot.
Yeah, I guess it's true. People on the outside don't exactly understand how it works on the inside. And that is, a disadvantage in their perspective. If St. Clair is still there, I'd like to just get a feel from him. What would he like to see as it pertains to accessibility for people in his situation?
What we'd like to see is the implementation where persons are able to access buildings. Going forward, buildings that are built, they should have ramps. If they to get into the buildings, if you're at the second floor or third floor, at least have an elevator. Because the legislation is there that says they're supposed to have access to the building. They should have the bathrooms that are designed for persons with disabilities, etc. I know it's expensive, as Joshua had said, to put in all these extra things in the building, but it should be done.
Is it realistic in terms of do you know how long ago that legislation was passed? I guess
I think it's 2017.
2017, and the things that are in it, I don't know. Have you spoken to people and have they told you whether or not it's difficult, whether it's realistic? Because sometimes legislators, it appears, they put things in legislation and maybe they just can't get it done as it ought to be done. Should we change the way we're building, or should things, I don't know, should things be more realistic, or do you think these things can realistically happen? Putting elevators in every building that has a second floor. Putting ramps on every building, and the ramps, I guess, have to be long enough so that, you're not going up a very steep, incline. So the incline has to be, long enough and wide enough and all these things. From your perspective, are these realistic objectives?
Yes, they are, because I've traveled to other countries and seen it being done. So why can't it be done here? I've been to the States. I've been able to access places. I've been to Barbados or the Caribbean islands, and I've seen it being done.
For instance, in the States, because that is a highly developed country, one would imagine. They have a big budget. Well, they should or whatever.
Yes.
But do you find that there are places still that you can't access, or can you access everywhere?
You referring to Antigua or in the States?
In the States.
1 or 2 places you can't access, but most of these places you are able to access.
Okay.
But the issue that comes back to Antigua now is most of the places you cannot have access to. Government buildings you don't have access to. Private buildings you don't have access to. Want something You have to send somebody to go and buy what you need. And when they reach there, they're going to call you and tell you what they see, etc. Because you can't access that place to go and buy what you need. You have to depend on somebody to go and do it for you. So, as I said, yes, it might be expensive, especially old buildings. But going forward with the new buildings, there should be at least be some sort of accommodation made for persons with disabilities.
All right. Okay, I think we have another caller. If it's a repeat caller, 30 seconds. Caller, you're on.
Al,
Hi, caller.
I believe the law need to enforce disabilities law more, effective and more penalty, because too often you go to a supermarket, you have 100 and how much parking space, and somebody will just come and park in the distributed section, and the police will just happen to be at the supermarket too. I will just pass and just ignore that. You need to, things like this need to be done more. Even in Trinidad, you have one parking space for some disabled person and people just come park. All in front of the fire hydrant and so. So unless the government don't put certain things in place for disability, it's always going to have a problem. It's always going to have a problem, because people in general, they just don't respect the people that have those sort of sickness or disability people. So you have to put things in place seriously and enforce it and let them pay the penalty. You drive up and you see somebody parking them, ticket them. Because you have other parking space you could go and park. But they believe, it's too far for them to walk. You with me?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. All right.
That I want to make before we end, one of the things that we also, thank you for the gentleman that's pointing out that on island, and individuals don't know this, we have 25 organizations that deal directly with disability. However, disability isn't in their name. And I've had this conversation with the Honorable Kiz Johnson, because we've been having a conversation about the Disability Act that was passed in 2017. In order for the act to be enforced, there needs to be a council. The council is made up of individuals who are a part of other disability organizations. And what we don't have is we do not have enough people, hence being on this radio station saying we need more advocates, we need more people, because the reality is disability is not something that's spoken enough about. We probably need our own radio station. We need a spot on ABS. We need a spot in the magazine, in every newspaper every week to talk more about disability, because another thing, Al, is individuals don't even understand what the word disability means. Lots of the times, the disability, and I'm one of the individuals, I have an invisible disability. If you see me in the road, jumping, prancing, flipping, doing the most, you would never think I'm disabled. But I was fired because of a disability. I have doctor records. I spent thousands of dollars. And the notion is we do not have a very educated society. So we have an ignorant society when it comes to disability, because lots of the disability, you cannot actually see them. And we have organizations, 25, because I, now as a member of the Ministry of Social Transformation, had the pleasure of being a part of compiling that list. 25 different organizations dealing with some form of disability. And the reality is you don't know those 25 organizations, Al. People don't know those 25 organizations. We need people to know what the organizations are about. What are the presidents? What are they doing? What are their members? And the idea is to get thousands of people rallying around the cause of disability.
All right, we have a caller. 30 seconds, caller.
I want to ask Lady a question. She said she was fired. I heard she had a party. Okay, tell me, what in fire she for? Because even though she has disability, she can move into work. Mister, tell me from the radio. What about?
I was fired because they think that I could not work because of my disability. And even in the court document that they produced in 2026, that is what the court document said. The court document said her health became a factor and we removed her from our schedule.
Why you that?
Repeat that?
Why you?
I was fired in 20. I was removed from the schedule in 2020. I was never given a termination letter. I was given an offer letter in 2021. We only made it to court in 2026. And in 2026, each party had to produce a court document, a written submission, and in the company's written submission, they admitted to firing me because of my disability.
That's wrong. That's wrong. They shouldn't do that. Okay, one more question before we come off. They're going to ask you if you're a member of the Disability Association. What do you think? You remember
I am not a member of the Disability Association. We're two completely different organizations that deal with individuals with disabilities. And I'm saying outside of the Disability Association and Good Humans 268 Inc., there are 23 other organizations on island that deal with disability.
That's what I did. I'll get the big man from Disability Association. Who's the boss of Disability Association?
Yes, so there are 25 different organizations that deal with some form of a disability. So we are not the only one. So what I have been able to do for the last 3 years is make enough noise. Thank you to Al and all the people who ever give me a space on their radio station to talk about disability more. And I'm hoping that other people will do the same. Because if we have more people talking about disability, we're going to have a better outcome in the next few years.
Okay, Miss. Thank you.
All right. So the Disabilities Association, is that an organization that's equal to yours? In other words, I mean, you do something that pertains to disabilities and they also do something, or is it a body that governs other bodies that deals with disabilities?
So the Disability Association, just like Good Humans 268, is an organization that deals with individuals with disabilities.
Right.
Another organization you might not know of is Blue Dragonfly.
Okay. So these are just separate organizations that they advocate for persons with disabilities.
Correct. And all of us collectively, through the Ministry of Social Transformation, shout out to the Minister Honorable Kiz Johnson, we had a meeting and we compiled the list, and the idea is to get the Disability Act up and running, and to get the Disability Act up and running, representatives from all 25 organizations, we have to come together, vote for who will sit on the council. From the time we have a council, we can then put the tribunal up.
Okay.
To enforce the law.
All right. So let me just take a final caller. Caller, 30 seconds.
I'm sorry to call back. This girl here, very unfortunate for her that she lose her job because she have a disability. Well, let me take us. I know people work all in the education system, and they have disability, and they work government work, and the government still let them work, but they don't give them this. They give them work to do that suit them. And I see a man all the time that's come. I don't see him now. I'm wondering if he died. Come in the supermarket in his wheelchair, and he work for government. But so I don't know what she's talking about. People don't fire you because they have a disability, and she can run and skip and hop and jump. So she's so unfortunate that she lose her job. Yes, I don't know, sweetie. I am listening to you, and I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
for that caller and every other caller.
I can hardly hear you.
All right, you can listen off.
Okay, have a great day. Rasta die. Good afternoon.
So the document from it says Joshua Francis and Sherrock's Restaurant and Bar, written submission on behalf of the employer, and point number 3 says the employee's medical issue continued, and in December 2020 the employee was removed from the work schedule after the employer received a medical report recommending that the employee seek more sedentary employment. So this is a court document that I'm reading. They fired me because the medical report that was submitted to the company from Dr. Gaikwad said that I should seek sedentary employment. And the reason I'm so passionate and sometimes I come up as angry is because of exactly what the lady just said. I should have never been fired because of my disability, because the Disability Act of 2017 and the UN Convention for Rights of Persons with Disabilities should have protected me. So I was diagnosed with osteoarthritis, and a company then used that diagnosis to say The employee's medical issue continued in December 2020. The employee was removed from the work schedule after the employer received the medical report. I am a member of the disability community. Is it fair that the company received the medical report, removes me from their schedule, do not give me a termination letter, do not complete the full medical report, yet 5 years later, 5 years, 9 months later, we get to court, and the court document says, you are harsh and oppressive, and you should have never done that, and you should pay her $61,000 by June the 30th, 2026, because you are wrong, you did her wrong. And although I won my case, they still didn't pay. And then the court, and I can speak, who is protecting me? In order for me to get my money, Al, I now need to pay a lawyer to take this company to high court. Is it fair that this company, Joshua Net Francis and Sherrock's Restaurant and Bar, written submission on behalf of employees, a court document, you can call the industrial court, I don't need to lie. Is it fair that a member of the disability community, one of the 16,000 from the census in 2021, was fired wrongfully? And this company is allowed to operate not one brand, 5 major brands, because outside of Sherrock's, and I'm not calling the name because I'm calling the name because it's on a court document. Sherrock's, Catherine, Fat Urchin, Roca, Rokuni. Is it fair to me what they have done to me? It is not. And does the Disability Act protect me? No, it does not. Does the UN Right for Conventions of Individuals with Disabilities that we signed on to as a country protect me? No, it does not.
All right, so I guess we know why you're advocating. So any final words concerning your advocacy for persons with disabilities or, anything else? And we'd also like, well, perhaps we should hear from St. Clair first. Any final words, St. Clair?
My final word will be that we need to pay keen attention to disability issues in Antigua and Barbuda. Because as it stands now, yes, there's a lot of work being done by the government, but we also need to do a little bit more to address the issues and them that are there right now, such as accessibility. And that is my main concern right now when it comes to persons with disability, accessibility to places.
All right, thank you so much, St. Clair. Josh Renette.
I want the whole of Antigua and Barbuda to become advocates for individuals with disabilities. The disabilities that you can see and the disabilities you can't see.
And especially since all of us will be disabled at some point.
At some point, you're right, Al.
Yeah.
We will all face some form of a disability, whether it's permanent or temporary.
I could see very well without glasses before.
And your glasses is now the tool that you use. I am praying for a future where individuals understand that disability is not just what you see. It's not just a wheelchair. It's not just a cane. It's individuals like myself who have a hidden disability, and the law needs to be enforced. We are putting things in place to ensure it's enforced, but we need more advocates to speed up the process. And fire under the foot.
All right. Thank you so much, Josh Renette. All the best in your endeavors. I mean, it's a tough job, I see, but yeah, that's the job that you have to do, and you have to motivate yourself all the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Al.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, looks like we have a caller. Oh, the caller is gone. Yeah. Well, yeah, but yeah. Oh, did I? Was there another caller there just a second ago? Anyway, yeah, another caller here. Caller, you're on.
Al,
hi.
The lady said that I said they should not fire her because of a disability. I never said that. I said I don't know that government fire people because of a disability and they still can work. They always find something for you to do. One thing with this government, I'm telling you, Al, I am telling you, they don't fire you because they have a disability. Trust me, Al.
Right.
No.
And the government didn't fire her.
That's what she said. I say the government should not fire her because of her disability. I said I don't know the government ever fire anybody because they have a disability and they still can work.
Right, and the government didn't fire her.
What she said?
No, the government never fired her. She was never fired by the government. It was a private company she was working for.
Oh, well, private company would do that.
Right,
and if she got to the government would take her.
Yeah,
This
but
she
she is working for the government as far as I know.
Oh,
so
okay,
no,
so just come in. I mean, say government shouldn't fire she. No, come in. No, government fire people because they have disability.
Right.
You understand?
So right, she was never fired by the government.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it has nothing to do with government.
So Jean and Avril, good afternoon, and Mary and Lorraine. I'll get home safe. Have a wonderful day. And all that glitter is not gold. Okay?
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day, Alito, my friend.
Thank you so much. Yeah, well, very, very, very interesting conversations.
Yo! Apollo!
Yes, caller. Hey there. Hey.
What's the last word Mary left with you?
All that glitters isn't gold, perhaps?
Oh, you're listening? All that glitters is that gold. That what the young lady from Raleigh said to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was working for a private firm and she won the case. They awarded her some money. And when is she going to put some of the money back to charity?
Well, I don't know. If you're working and you lost your job unfairly and a court ruled with you, isn't that money for you because you couldn't work? I mean, obviously you would have personal matters that you need to take care of. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me that you're working, you're fired, and you take the company that you're working for to court, you're proven to be in the right, you're compensated because of your unfair dismissal, and now you should give your money to some other charity when you are a charity case, because why would you have taken them to court if,
And people give money to people too?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you have a lot of money, if you're a wealthy person and you take somebody to court on principle and you win, then maybe you could say, well, I have money. I just took you to court just to prove that I was in the right. And then you could give that money to Good Humans, Inc. But if you are an average working person and you have to feed yourself and take care of your young child and somebody fires you unfairly, in a theoretical case, and you win, would you give the money that would maintain you and your child because, people want you, because, you work for a charity, so everything you do, you should give it away? I mean, I don't think that's how it works in the real world. I mean...
I know Good Human, the government. I wanted to ask you what's going on with the collection of these bottles, because I think the government was on board and gave her about $60-something thousand at one time. I think she was asking for more money. I know a couple of hotels gave her money and so forth. And I don't know what's going on in terms of all this money that was collected. And I think they was asking for another $80,000 from the government. The government they give about $60,000. And then but the whole thing is, I don't think no one did actually stop her from teaching. It's a situation whereby, she thinks she want to go into that field. And
Right. Well, I think that was her explanation. No one stopped her. She had taken leave and unpaid leave, and she wanted to move from teaching to go into...
because, as Mary said, so she know why. Anyhow, you see that ministry, I just finished on my Bible, so I have a little time now. You see that ministry they call social transformation. You see these folks that we call disability, and they are You know the minister that over social transformation, Rod Turner. I'm telling you. For all the different people that were there before him. I can call the name. Samantha, Dean Joseph, Dean, Samalwin, and now Mr. Turner. I personally don't think none of them right now for the work that the minister has been doing. And I don't want to buy the come and go on like, well, the disability, the government not taking care of them. They're well taken care of. Right? Just that some people figure, well, you know what I mean, all this should have done and that should have done and so forth. Because some people, they actually have some people with disability because they were good and they end up and have some problem, and some of them getting even a pension and they have family members that control the money, do what they like and so forth, and don't take care of these people as they should. Just similar, that's fine.
Boy, it must be a terrible thing when you're disabled. You have to depend on people. That's a
you have
terrible
people
thing.
You have family members that take our elders up to fine, and they're joint pension, the government pension and social security pension.
And what do? They just plant them there and go and reap their
all who up
their
there
pension, huh?
All who up there at fines and they get them pension. Government should stop it. Because government can't take care of them. Where the money go? Where the money go? So you bring these people up, the government looking after you. They're getting a pension. And their family member call it the pension. What they take the pension money do? When the government to look after them. And then things must step out.
Okay.
Well, that can be right.
Anyway, there was another issue.